Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Louisiana Children's Museum in Dialogue series. I'm Shannon Blady. I'm Chief Learning Officer here at the museum, and I am so excited to welcome Doc Griggs with us today. Dr. Eric Griggs is a community health expert and doctor and educator and a fun person, artist. We're going to get into all of this. Welcome. How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you.
Good, good. Are you ready for the holidays?
Absolutely not. No. 1,000% I am not.
What are some ways that you get ready for the holidays?
Well, I'm getting better at winding down my calendar. My birthday, my daughter's birthday is the 10th. So there's a build-up and then there's a lag. But then in the lag, you have to remember to do Christmas shopping for everyone else. So turning off the work button, I guess, would be the first start. And I'm trying to get better every year, but I never seem to make it.
I have 5 Sagittariuses, like close. My mom, my dad, my brother, like people I have to go buy presents for.
You know, it's a little bit.
Yeah, and then at work, most of our birthdays are in the month of December too, like people who work here. It's a very busy time.
It's a happy time of year until the last minute, and Amazon doesn't get it there in time. So we got to pay attention to Amazon dates. Yeah.
Yes, so a lot of scheduling and setting expectations for spacing it out.
Yeah, and then just letting people know, hey, it didn't get here. Day after, maybe, we'll see.
And that's going to be okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's going to come. It's eventually going to come. What, staying prepared for the holidays, what about, and I know you probably do this, have this, all the invitations.
Oh, well, so you have to learn your boundaries and be comfortable with the polite no's and the thank you so much. I do have a lot going on. I can't promise, but no, I'm there in heart and in spirit. I'll try, and you leave it at the try. And people understand because it seems, I don't know why, but it seems like there's more and more stuff going on every year.
Right.
If it's not in person, there's a Zoom that they want to get together, and then there's a toy giveaway, there's this, there's that. So it all piles up, so you just have to be okay with your no's.
What about practicing your no's or explaining the reason for your no's for your children? You know, they want to know, well, how come we can't go to this party and that party? Like, what are some good tips for?
So the best thing to do is, with kids, is talk to them in terms of energy. Do you think you're going to be awake to be able to do it? Yeah. Are you sure? Or are you going to fall asleep in the car? Let's pick the fun ones that you'd like to go to and figure out why, and then we can vote and see. And then maybe we can take a nap if you want to do it. And if they're up for the nap, then you're kind of hooked because you got to do both. But most of the time, they're like, nah, I don't want a nap.
Yeah.
But it's just being honest with them and starting. If you start with the teaching of time management early on, you know, the interesting thing about kids is, you know, the brain goes through the process of arborization. The more experiences you have, the more neurons and more nerve fibers that connect. So if you challenge them and you teach them things early, it can become second nature. If you slow down enough to teach your kids to slow down, and they slow you down because they're going to ask, you're not going to be able to get up quick because they ask you the questions. Well, why? Well, why? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I guess we're slowing down.
Answer those whys as best you can all the time. Keeping that cycle of inquiry is very important too. Just don't shut it down. Like I'm always telling people, answer them, tell them why.
Answer them and then give them, so what do you think we should do? We have to go to 3 parties at one time, and it's
some
amazing.
Agency, yeah.
These kids turn into sages. You know, a friend of mine is a 6-year-old, and during the pandemic, you know, you get what you get, don't pitch a fit. Wait, what did he say? Wow, is that like this?
That's a teacher's
Socrates.
favorite. Yeah. And also, you know, that's something we were talking about upstairs about presents. You get what you get and you don't throw it. Not just the parties, but also the expectations for the bigger, the better. And sometimes you can't get the bigger and better presents.
Well, I like to have that conversation in terms of presents versus gifts. A gift can be any of 3 things. It can be your time, your talent, or your treasure. Your present, you can go buy at the store at the last minute when you're running. How many people get foot warmers or massages or socks or ties? That's a present. But what makes that present a gift is a story behind it. Grandpa only had $7, and Mom gave me 99 cents, and I bought you this tie. That tie will be remembered forever, because if you think about the holiday functions and the times that we spend together, it's really the gifts and the time spent. I can remember when everyone came out with what was the game? Nintendo, the Wii? Do you know how many memories and how much fun people had simulating playing tennis
with-
and
yeah.
I mean bowling and the whole nine? And I don't know why it went away, but those memories, the Wii's memory went away. But if you go to family functions, they still talk about those things. So going back to, I'll never forget when, unfortunately, I think this was my grandmother or my grandfather passed away. We were at my uncle's house, and all the nieces and nephews were there with the older cousins. And we didn't have anything. We don't have anything to play with. We taught them how to play red light, green light. We played it. We found a ball from somewhere and a branch, and we played a little stick ball, hide and go seek.
Yeah.
Mother May I, the whole. It was that memory is invaluable. There's no present
Right.
that they could have given us to
I
make
mean,
us.
what-
That's what it's about.
Without the ball and the stick,
There was
you
nothing
didn't need
but
any
us.
materials.
No,
You
we
just need
didn't.
yourselves for
That's it.
those. Yeah. There are a lot of, on Instagram and things, more games that people are trying to, holiday games, and everyone's cracking up laughing, and they're trying to get the marshmallows into the cups or silly things like that. And I instantly thought, I want to do that with my family. I don't want to just be open gifts, move, let's go, next party.
Old school charades.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
if you really want to spice up the party, pull out the Uno cards or the Monopoly game, and keep your eyes on the banker. Because that never, I don't care how old you get, my cousin cheats. They won't let me be a banker because I give everybody money.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to, I grew up kind of as an only child, so I didn't want anybody to go home. So I'm like, here, just keep playing.
That's right. Yeah. we also talk a lot here about transitions, and so, well, we want to talk about routines and how important it is to maintain some routines. We go to bed at this time because these parties are happening, and you're not in school and your schedule's all off. But also letting children know the expectations for, we're going to go to this party, we're going to be here for about an hour, we're going to play these games, like just having those conversations so that kids aren't, I don't want to leave, I want to do this. They kind of know what to do before you even get there.
Yeah, just setting expectations. You know, where did I read it? But a wise person once said that all the things that we need to learn to be successful in life, we learn prior to kindergarten. Be nice. Learn how to work on schedules. Keep your hands and your bugs and your food to yourself. Take naps when you're cranky. And go outside and play.
That's it.
That's
Important stuff.
Everything. I mean, everything. If someone's a nice person, you spend your time, those three things, you spend your gifts with people that you enjoy. Not necessarily people that give you expensive presents, but people you just have a good time laughing with. So teaching kids those, it's not that hard to, because kids have great hearts, usually. They can see gifts in each other that we don't see. So just kind of nurturing that, but again, setting that expectation, okay, now it's nap time. Mom's tired, dad's tired.
Right.
Yeah, too many parties? Yeah, too many parties. Yeah.
What were your three things that you can gift? Your
Time, talent, and treasure.
Time, talent, and treasure. I really like that. Yeah. Okay, so how do you, when you've done the expectations, but we're still doing all the things, we're still tired, our schedule's off, how do we ground ourselves and get back to?
So I think, you have to be, like I mentioned, you have to be intentional with your no's, but part of that is a boundary. Part of that no is your time. Okay, so we're going to do this, and the next day, it's a rest day. What do we do on rest day? We get the house ready for Santa. Or we clean, and we make sure, and then we have to go over our list, and days for prep, and days for decompress, and get the kids to expect it. Just gets everybody on the same path. Even the pets will follow along after a while.
Oh, yeah. The more I talk to people and experts like you, the more I'm hearing how important it is for children to have chores in the family and to feel like they're part of the team and to have that teamwork.
Yeah, we're part of everyone's a part of the pack, and having real conversations. Again, I always ask, well, has anyone, the middle of COVID, the reason we started doing cartoons, one of the reasons, I'm like, is anybody talking to the kids at all? Do they know what's going on? They just know they can't go to school, they can't go outside, they can't go play over a friend's house, and is anyone telling them why?
And you developed these animations that tell them why. Tell us about those.
So Dr. Mark Allen Derry and we got together. That was my partner in COVID. He's an infectious disease doctor. And another community medicine doc out here. He's infectious disease by training, but community by fire. We wanted to make videos for physicians, healthcare providers, to be able to help them explain what was going on, because we'd never heard of COVID before. I can remember being in a news studio and be like, Doc, do you know what this is? I'm like, no, give me a minute. Wait.
Wow.
All right, okay, well, it's this, and being comfortable with your I don't knows. And then Mark Allen, Dr. Derry, came at me and said, Eric, what do you think if we made a cartoon? Well, I am a Hanna-Barbera, Zoom, Electric Company, hey, you guys, Sesame Street, you name it, I'm all for it. I was a Powerpuff Girl fan, strangely, when I was in med school, which makes...
I love Powerpuff Girls.
And if you'll watch, strangely, the antibodies in our cartoons about COVID, look, they might remind you
They
of...
might look like
They
them.
might remind you, maybe. But,
Inspiration.
what I realized, my sister has 5 kids. I have nieces and nephews, and one of my sisters. And she was telling me, like, the 3-year-old was just enamored with the cartoons. I'm like, maybe we're onto something. And then I remembered Schoolhouse Rock. Like, I know what a conjunction and what its function is, because that cartoon, it was for the kids, but it talked to the adults. Again, I got to give Dr. Mackey credit. The time, talent, and treasure I got from him. The other one is high-functioning societies are child-centered, adult-governed, and elder-ruled. If you want to get the attention of any room full of adults or collection of adults, talk to a kid. If there's a 2, 3-year-old here and someone walks in and immediately starts talking to everyone's attention, like, wait, what's going on? And we can hide our insecurities, like the things that we don't quite understand, if someone's teaching the kids.
Yeah.
But what's COVID? Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was the entree into that realm, and then I realized I love spending time with kids. The questions and love watching the light bulbs go off
Yeah.
from the adults. So cartoons, adults, any means necessary to explain things to kids, because you never know what brilliance, like I said, will come out, because it's pure in a sense of thinking, like the logic. A lot of times it'll be a simple answer that a kid says.
Right.
Why don't we just leave? Never thought about that. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm sorry, we have to go. We're tired. What she said.
Right. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
We practice the pedagogy of listening here, and we talk to everybody who comes on staff about the importance of asking open-ended questions so that we can hear their theories and make their learning and thinking visible to everybody else, because that's how capable they are. It's like, listen to this.
Exactly,
Do you remember when you came for Peace Week for Dr.
Yes,
King,
yes.
and how moved we were by the things the kids were saying?
Yeah.
We were just like,
Right there,
I know,
right
we're like, oh my God. Yes, out of the mouths of babes, it's beautiful stuff. But your videos taught people about
So we taught
COVID.
them everything and the more uncomfortable things that are hard for a lot of scientists to explain, like this whole, the evolution of this quick evolution of this vaccine, and explaining how it's safe even though it took a microcosm of the time that it normally would. It's because the science, and we explained it hopefully in ways that people understand. But what happens is, and you were talking about the pedagogy, it's a lot of things that we do with kids that adults forget. We get so trained in this lecture student format that we forget that in the sender message receiver equation, it's a bidirectional arrow. And I need to, in order for this to be an effective interaction, I need to learn from you as much as you do from me, and that's the bidirection. We learn. You give, it's the time, talent, and treasure. I give my treasure of the gift that I learned to read all these books and kind of figure out certain things in certain contexts. I give them to you. Now you give me what you think about it in your context, and we both walk away enriched, but we forget, because we're so used to being lectured, we're so used to listening to someone give a speech, that we forget how to actually discuss. And most importantly, and you'll learn with kids, it's okay to disagree. How many times have you talked to a child, they don't quite get it, you know what, that's okay. We're just gonna stop right there, because we're not gonna agree, and that's okay. And then they might come back, or you might come back, but that's,
Good modeling.
yeah, we tend to forget. The older we get, the more I don't know whether it's the altitude or the height that we forget.
So you mentioned grounding, expectations, taking care of ourselves and saying no. What about our diets? Because they tend to go haywire this season.
They do. So my thoughts on that have evolved based on my experience. I do have to, at the TV station, they affectionately know me as Dr. Grinch, because I'm going to say 1 drink, 1 water, don't portion size, stay away from processed food, blah, blah, blah. However, I am from New Orleans, and if you really want people to listen, you have to be real about it and just be honest. It's the holidays. You do want to keep those things in mind, but you enjoy yourself. Don't overdo it. Don't overindulge. It's not the tryptophan in the turkey. It's because you ate too much. Work on your portion sizes. And if you really want to be held accountable, if you have small children, tell them what you're trying to do, and you will You won't enjoy your meal if you try to do anything other than what you.
What is that?
What is that? You said you weren't eating any more cake, so I can have more cake? No, yeah. So you want to be mindful of it. You want to make sure you're drinking your water. And again, just if you can make it a group thing, a fun thing. With kids, making the healthy meals, like the holiday festive things, using the grapes and the fruits. And just
they've got some
featuring it.
adorable
Yeah.
charcuterie boards shaped like trees and flowers. I'm like, that's adorable.
Yeah.
And also these mocktails are fun too. You know,
The mocktail. Oh, and then watching the kids pretend that they're not mocktails, with their little pinkies up. And,
yeah. So sweets. I know you said moderation, but they're everywhere.
They are.
Help us.
allow for it. You want to go easy on the sweets. For the average male, it's no more than 9 grams of added sugars. For the average female, it's no more than it's 6. So what happens is you end up getting 3 days worth. Like 1 can of soda is 36 grams of sugar. That's enough for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like it's too much. 4 days. So you just want to be mindful of it. You want to drink a lot of water. Exercise. Again, games like charades, if you can. The fun things outside.
Moving your body.
Yeah, if there are leaves outside, you want to be careful, but playing in the leaves, just all the fun. Again, if you make memories, you don't worry about calories as much. And if you're exercising, if you're moving, you don't worry about it. I just want people to forgive themselves because we beat ourselves up. What happens is the holidays come, Christmas passes, everyone beats themselves up. They overdo it on New Year's Eve, and then they make all these promises that are done by the first week,
Right.
as opposed to extend it through to Mardi Gras Day. Like wait till Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, work on your moderation, or accept the fact that, look, I'm going to overdo it a little bit.
Don't
For
be too hard on
adults
yourself.
and kids, talk to your doctor. Let them know it's the holidays. Are there any health things that I need to worry about? In general, for the most part, one meal isn't really going to really wreck your diet or your
Right.
health plan, but you just want to be mindful of it because you'll feel it the next day. But
Oh that sugar crash and that yucky.
Yeah.
I tend to do if my grandmother put her heart and soul in that cake, I'm going to eat it. But if it's a processed box
Yeah.
of candy on the table, it's not worth it for me. That's where I pick my battles.
And what I find is that a lot of times I'll just need a little taste of it.
Right.
I don't need the whole
Moderation.
no competitive eating. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then I wanted to also say, you can get a really good physical experience by coming to the Children's Museum and playing with your kid.
Absolutely. So that was something that I wanted to get into. If you can start instilling into, like my family did, it's the spirit of giving, and it's the gift. It's part of your treasure, right? It's your time, your talent, your treasure. But I don't know what it's. How do you describe that feeling of that one gift that didn't cost that much, but you know that person that well, and they like it so much that they put it on, or you see them, they're over the moon excited, like
Yeah.
instilling that
The
in
giving.
kids, or that memory, that time of imagine a kid saying, "I just want to spend. I don't have any money, but I just came to play with you. What game do you want to play?
Yeah.
You're my new favorite."
Oh, wow.
It's just focus on the giving, and so we've done segments on the health benefits of giving, the endorphins, the dopamine release, it's how it's good for your mental health, your serotonin, the oxytocin, the bonding. That's all the sciencey stuff. When it's really it's those hugs. It's the hugs. If you
connections.
focus on those gifts, it's okay. And that's the other thing. If you can make a distinction between presents and gifts, and you're honest with your kids. Dad doesn't have it. It's been kind of rough, so we don't have. So I'm going to do the best I can, but everybody gets a $10 or $20 limit, and then we're going to make the most stuff. What do you know about your sister? What do you think she would just go crazy about? What does she think that you don't know, and what could you give her? And just if you start tuning into that empathy button and learning for them to dial it up, I think the world would be a nicer place if we would do that.
I love that advice. That's great advice. And plus, I can just see. You know that sibling knows something that nobody else knows too, and it's going to make the sister go, "I can't believe you remember that."
It just takes getting fussed at one time by mom and dad, and then they go bond, and then they always look at each other. There she goes. It's one thing, small thing that you're like, why does she like? It's a ladybug sticker. Yes, it is.
That's the ladybug sticker. And that message too. We have lots of beautiful children's books here with that message, like The Power of Giving, The Gift of Giving. So I'm actually gonna go put them on the shelf now for the holidays. Yeah, so staying healthy, staying grounded, appreciating the experiences over the stuff. I always tell people try to avoid the commercials right now too. It equates happiness with stuff, and it's just
Presents. The other big thing is though, as you're doing these gifts, seen it too many times, do not think it's a good time to challenge an 8-year-old to a race. If you're middle-aged or above or not in high school shape, you don't want it to lead to a trip to the ER, pulling a muscle, cardiovascular events, because you're trying to play the games in moderation.
Yeah.
But definitely get them outside.
don't be a show off.
Show up at the ER is what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot. More accidents this time of year.
You
and
get
more
accidents and you get cardiovascular events. It's always rough around the holidays because of the opposite side. You miss people, but then you talk to your parents. So there's another book that I'm working on. I lost my best friend earlier this year, a few months ago, unexpectedly.
Sorry.
But so I transformed my experiences into things. I don't know why I'm still a 4-year-old, 5-year-old in my brain. But it's called Butterflies Never Forget. And science shows that butterflies do remember when they were caterpillars. So it's the story of these guys and a caterpillar they find, and goes through this chrysalis phase. They don't understand it, and they think he's stolen. But then they go speak to my sister, a mental health specialist. And while they're there, the butterfly starts singing, and there's this moment of recognition, and the whole nine. And then I have my sister teaching them, butterflies never forget. Those memories, they'll always be with you. If you can remember that song, it's like what we're talking about with these gifts. My grandparents have been gone. The relatives we used to visit used to come over, but I can still, if I talk long enough, I can smell the house. I can remember competing with my uncle for who's going to get the last piece of sweet potato pie. I can remember my grandfather playing Sam Cooke. I don't remember all the gifts, but I can remember him being overly excited when I gave him one year the best of the Sam Cooke and that era music. He skipped Christmas. He went by the radio and just played that tape, and he would just sit there and listen.
Wow.
But that's something that's not a present.
right.
That present turned into a gift, and it's those types of things. Like I go back to the ladybug that we focus on. I mean, we'd just be a much nicer and better place if we could give
More
and be-
intentionally.
Yeah, more intentional.
Yeah.
And follow the kids, because once you show them once, it doesn't stop. I mean, y'all know better than I do.
Well, yeah.
Once they start giving and hugging, and hey, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a good time. So you just mentioned that. What was that book? The Butterfly?
It's called Butterflies Never Forget. It's still in draft. I'm almost
Okay.
done with it.
We
but
want that
one's coming.
one.
That one's coming.
Dig into Nature whence that one. Tell us about this one.
Wow, so this one is, it's called, I Said I'm Gonna Be a Doctor, The Adventures of Jemiel and Poppy. Jemiel's a cousin that passed away after living with us for 2 years. He had colorectal cancer, and this is our puppy Poppy, who's a real person. And it's autobiographical in the sense that it's kind of my journey, I'll say loosely my journey to becoming a doctor and people not really understanding how or why. Self-discovery, learning to rely on the village around you because you can't be successful by yourself. And then going back and taking care of your community. So it's Adventures of Jemiel and Poppy. I said I'm going to be a doctor. There's another one that we just finished the animation for. It will come out this summer called I Wanted to Play, But I Could Not. And it's about childhood obesity, dealing with the things.
Oh, yeah. We read this one before airing right now, and it's lyrical, it's beautifully written, and there are little surprises in the book, too, that are great stories to your life and great connections. But it did hit me, the page about it's okay to ask for help. You need to ask for help to struggle through hard things. I think that was my favorite page in here, too, because I think that's a message that young people really need to hear.
Yeah, it says sometimes to do difficult things, it takes a lot more than yourself. I studied real hard. I fell down a lot. Wilder hurt. Oh, man. There was no feeling in the world I'll never forget at Notre Dame, pre-med, and I took my first chemistry test. And it was a thing. I mean, college, we're going to stay up all night. So we stayed up all night doing everything but study, doing backflips in the hall. Oh, we're going to learn this, I overslept by an hour for the exam.
I have nightmares like that.
Yeah, I still do. That and the attendance. Like, I know I missed more than 3 classes. I have no idea. But so took the test, did the best I could, and I got a 12.
Out of?
100. There were 25 questions.
Oh, no.
I got 3 right. And My phone started blowing up in the room. I knew not to answer it. It was the advisor. It was my grandparents. It was my entire village. What do you mean? Did you get a hug? Just bear with me. And then all of a sudden, my whole family became chemistry tutors. Did you study for your test?
Oh, wow.
Do you know about helium? What is that reaction again? Grandma, boy? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my God. I love that.
But it's that. We would not, none of us would be where we are were it not for our family, and supporting cast. I had teachers, guidance counselors, members of the church that supported me that I can't even remember, that I might not have known that were working behind the scenes to help. When you see what you want to, think about it, anytime you see a kid that's really trying to accomplish something and they're working to do it, you just want to help.
Right.
You don't want any credit, you want to help. So that's kind of what this is. I said I'm going to be a doctor, and nobody understands. My grandmother said, first they call you crazy, then they laugh at you, then they question you, then they follow you. And that's exactly that's the road. It's not just my road, that's a road of anyone. Whenever you come up with something that no one quite understands, except that brother that knows you like the butterfly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but just finding your tribe, and a lot of times it's right there. It's your family.
And I will, and you mentioned it too, I love my family. They support me no matter what. My teachers were also a huge part of that too. I still am in communication with my elementary school teachers.
Thought they hated me. Why do they keep giving me, I said I want to be a doctor, you keep giving me all this work. Like, what, did I do something wrong?
Right.
Do you not like me?
They were pushing you.
Just do it and shut up.
They knew what you needed.
Yeah, right.
Well, do you have any questions from our In Dialogue director or our audience?
No, I think you guys handled everything that I was thinking of. I did want to ask you to repeat what you were saying about things being child-led. What was you were saying the best?
Oh, so high-functioning society. Again, this is from Dr. Mackey. Like, I learned.
Shout out to Dr. Mackey.
Shout out to Dr. Mackey. You say good things about them when they're not around. No, I do it when he's around too. No, high-functioning society is child-centered, adult-governed, and elder-ruled.
Yep.
We're child-centered, we're adult-governed, but the wisdom is from the elders.
We forget about that part sometimes.
And that's another thing. If we could challenge, I love watching the grandparents and the grandkids interact and move out of the way, which is why when I do events, I bring hula hoops and jump ropes,
The
like
old
double
stuff.
dutch. Because
And jacks.
Oh, jack. My
Yeah.
grandmother, still, to this day, I don't think I ever beat my grandmother in jacks. And she would show up and pick them up one at a time.
Yep.
Yeah. But you bring the hula hoops and you juxtapose the new generation with the elders, and just watching. When I was growing up, at one point, my best friends were in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, because I would go, my grandmother would call it sit in a spell. We'd go sit on the front porch.
Yeah.
They'd go get some iced tea off the back porch that had been sitting in the sun, and we'd sit. My grandfather taught me how to make a ham bone into a ring. All these stories about life. He had a ceiling fan that we'd prop between the couch and the floor model TV, and then he had a hot plate, so we'd make hot dogs and watch the Brave games.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Memories, gifts.
Good, yeah.
Those things. So if we can get those types of memories because there's so many things that you learn. I mean, your elders teach lessons without thinking about it, and kids take everything in.
That's right. And keep promoting that inquiry atmosphere. You want them to ask questions. When they ask you a question, say, that's a great question. You know, like you want to keep them, you don't want to shut it down. I see, and I'm not blaming parents, but there's a lot of busy and business talk. I don't know, sit down, because I said, let's move, we got to go, we got to do this. Just being like, I don't know, that is a great question. Why do you think it's, and just promoting that conversation.
And you can
with
make
them.
a homework assignment. Let's figure out why. When we get home, let's do my grandmother was notorious for reports.
Reports.
Oh, my goodness. I would quit asking questions because we're going to the library. Oh.
What are you most looking forward to this holiday season?
Waking up after 4 o'clock. Yeah, just.
You wake up at 4 a.m.?
3:30 to 4
Wow.
every day to get ready. Because I try to get ready before 8 o'clock, because that's when your phone starts to ring. So if I can get everything I need done, I can kind of give my time to what's necessary. But yeah, being able to sleep in just one day, if I can sleep
A little bit more rest.
A little more rest. And then just the smiles. And then, so I consider the holiday season from Halloween through Mardi Gras. Reason why is because if you're from here, contrary to what people think that aren't from New Orleans, Mardi Gras is a big homecoming. And
Yeah,
that's when
true.
you get to see, and
It's a short
It's a short seat, yeah. So you get to spend time, downtime, just to, hey, what's up? What's going on? How you been? Da, da, da. But that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. So this is out. We can purchase this. We
This
can
is out. You can
tell
go
people
to
where to get it.
JamileandPoppy.com. I'll give you the website, JamileandPoppy.com. And right now we're taking orders for people to purchase, and then we get them to them. In an ideal world, what I would like to do is replace the swag that larger companies give when they give out pens. And if we can go to those companies, and I have dolls. Each book has a comprehensive, I have my friends that are experts looking over it. I have a comprehensive discussion guide for parents
Oh, nice.
that goes with it, and I have my scientific references to go with it. But it goes through like 2 to 5 minute intervals where they talk about certain things, and then you watch the cartoon. I'm also working on getting this made into a board book
Oh, cool.
for our younger kids.
Yeah.
The thicker.
So they can put in their mouths and
Yeah,
stuff.
of course, and they can make up their own stories. Blah 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
And this is yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I
This
feel-
is precious.
and there's a Poppy doll too that's coming with it. So.
Oh, my goodness.
And then there's Doc Griggs, and like I said, I have the mascot. So I have everything. We're packaging it right, so when we put it out there, it's to the kids. And I would love, of course, I would love for parents to buy the book, but I would love to have it set up so we could give them away because someone's pre-purchased, and we can.
Good idea.
Kids shouldn't have to pay for. Parents shouldn't have to pay for dreams.
Wow. That's a good message to end on right there. Also, please, when it's all ready, we would love to have a reading here and share
Absolutely.
this with our families who come to Talk and Play at the museum.
And I made it a point not to make the mascots too tall because my friend's son was terrorized by the Teletubbies back in the 90s. They were huge, and they'd come into the party, and all the kids would go over here.
Yeah.
And some of them wouldn't come out till they left.
So yours are,
Yeah, they're fun size.
They're fun
We tried them
size,
out at the Bayou Classic Parade. The kids, especially Poppy, they love the puppy. They love Dr. Poppy, so they mobbed him. So we'll y'all have them with me.
oh, we definitely want that here. I'm excited. Okay, anything else before we say bye to everybody?
No, have a happy, wonderful holiday. Thank you. I'm very humbled to be here. Remember, it's child-centered, adult-governed, elder-ruled. Give the gift of giving and empathy. Teach it to your kids, and it'll pay off for the rest of your life.
Great advice. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thanks. You too.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.